All right, how many of you out there have been trying every single manifestation technique you can find, yet finding that nothing's really working, or that you're falling flat and repeating maybe some of the same patterns, or just stuck, almost feeling as if the visualization techniques, the meditation techniques are not exactly working the way that you were hoping? This kind of falls into the get rich quick plans or schemes that one can find themselves in. If it has worked for other people, it may not work necessarily for everyone. We all have different makeup, meaning we all have a different psychology makeup. We all are unique. We all have different blueprints within ourselves that are going to affect our outcome. Some people may be able to manifest right away. Some people may be able to manifest their dreams and their desires in a decent amount of time, which also can lead us to feel that we have a certain timeline to work with, or a certain sense of urgency with our manifestations, which I'll get to in a moment. And I'm sure you're familiar with this as well. But I feel there are many manifestation, visualization techniques, even meditation techniques that can help us and almost inspire us and keep us on track for our manifestations and for the change that we want in our life. But if we are not venturing into our unconscious, and if we're not looking at our shadow and what we can't see, then we are only going to be able to get so far. The meditations, the visualization techniques will feel superficial and they will lack depth. Like I said, it may work for some people, it may work to a point, but then after a certain point, it's not going to go deep enough. This is where we need to access our unconscious and our false beliefs and go into the origin of some of the deeper aspects of ourselves that are difficult sometimes, are really hard to reach, are really hard to see. Now, what I mean by them is, for example, if we have a belief deep down within our unconscious self, within our heart, where we feel that we are not good enough, for example, maybe in love, maybe attracting a partner, finding a relationship, maybe someone wants a relationship and is visualizing and is manifesting and putting themselves out there and working with the law of attraction, but not finding the right person. There may be a belief, a false belief within their unconscious that they are not good enough. And then this false belief is going to create their reality accordingly. These false beliefs are so important to look at, yet we overlook them. And especially in this community of law of attraction and manifestation and visualization. And I'm not going to say meditation because meditations are really good, but meditation in the context of creating our future can only get us so far if we are not looking at our false beliefs. If there is something within our unconscious that is creating an unconscious pattern in our outer world, we are only going to be able to get so far, right? If we feel on some level in our unconscious that we are not good enough, if we compare ourselves to others, if we feel lonely, if we meet someone and then we all of a sudden feel really self-conscious and create distance with that person, that is our unconscious, that's our false beliefs, our unconscious trying to tell us something that we need to look at deeper within ourselves. There's a pattern in there. There's a false belief in there that needs to be looked at, that needs to be observed, that needs to be worked through in order to manifest, in order to get us to that next level. Like I said, we can manifest maybe to a certain degree, maybe to a certain level, and we are going to keep hitting these levels no matter what in some area of our life because we all have them. We can all create success. We can all have a beautiful relationship. We can all have freedom and fulfillment in our life. However, whenever we get to a certain benchmark and a certain stage and a certain level, we are going to be met with our false beliefs. We are going to be met with maybe a little bit of self-sabotage or resistance, or maybe a bit of shame or guilt, or maybe a bit of anger and resentment. These are all the aspects that we have within our shadow. We all have them. We are working through them through this work. And the law of attraction is very real. However, I feel that there is a big component of our life that is called divine timing and cosmic order that has its own timeline. We can get very frustrated. We can put expectations on ourselves. We can want things now, especially when we're in a difficult situation. But the difficulty all comes from here. It all comes from our mental processing, the way that we're interpreting our life, the way that we are functioning in our life. If we feel that we are under stress, if we feel that we are pressured, if we feel that we need our manifestations now, or we want our manifestations now, then we are getting in the way of creating it. I know it sounds a bit counterintuitive, because when we are coming from fear, when we are coming from stress and pressure, we will naturally feel that we want control, that we want things done a certain way at a certain timeline, but that all comes from fear. And from my own experience, I have also realized that these patterns, the resistance, the difficulties, the challenges, are going to keep showing up over and over and over again for us to move through them, so that we can let them go, so that we can heal them, we can transform them, we can release from them to set ourselves up for greater success. That is why the challenges keep showing up. That is why we keep going nowhere fast, because we haven't looked at something deeper within. And this is what I've been working on myself for a long time. And I'm fairly certain that if we don't look at some of these underlying patterns and difficulties that we can't necessarily see through self-reflection, we can. And if we choose to look at our shadow, and if we choose to look at ourselves differently, we will see them. But it takes a great deal of self-observation, and also admitting some maybe hard truths about ourselves, some truths that we might be burying, or we've buried, some truths that we tend to not want to face, right? And when we look at ourselves through these hard truths, we will be able to break these patterns. We will be able to set ourselves up for greater success, and we will be able to manifest. Because what happens when we address these false beliefs, these buried unconscious false beliefs and patterns, we set ourselves free. We allow for more flow, we allow for more enjoyment, we allow for more trust, and we allow for synchronicities to happen. If there is fear and if there's resistance within our unconscious self, we are not going to be able to see the synchronicities. We are not going to be even able to know what synchronicities are. We will be self-sabotaging. We will be also creating resistance unconsciously and repeating unconscious, difficult patterns over and over and over again. These are the loops that we can find ourselves in until we face them, until we really see them and break those patterns. And also, for the most of it, we have to go right into the origin. We have to understand where the origin is in order to break these patterns. Where did this first develop? Where did the pattern first develop? Perhaps is there too much of a focus on the future, the worst case outcome, or expectations, rather than being focused in the present moment to create the future that you desire? Or is there holding on to the past, the regrets, the resentment, the anger? So there's going to be some inner reflection required in order for us to manifest, in order for us to really create. But again, like I said, there's going to be a hint or a very strong factor that is going to be up to the cosmic order. Now, for myself, I had been working really hard on visualization techniques, meditations, some very, very powerful techniques, but I still came flat because I wasn't going deep enough into my shadow and into my unconscious and my false belief system. And this requires, like I said, a whole new perspective. And if we aren't seeing these, and if we aren't recognizing these, then we're going to be, again, treading more on a superficial level. Even though meditations and visualizations are important, setting intentions are very important. But again, if we haven't looked at an aspect within ourselves, we'll overlook it and we'll try to override it with these other techniques that may just not work if we haven't found the origin of our greatest limitations and our fears and our resistances within our unconscious self. To do with love, matters of the heart. If we have not accepted ourself, if we have not returned to unconditional love within our heart, if we have not healed from our past and let go of our wounds, it will be very difficult to open ourselves up for new love. However, we can meet new love and heal together and work on things together if you find that person who is willing to do so and on that same path. However, if we do not accept ourselves, if there is a self-rejection or a removal of self or separation within self, it's going to be difficult to manifest love until that wholeness has been complete within oneself, or the acknowledgement of the rejection, separation, or removal from the heart within oneself. The work on the heart with regards to relationships is so crucial. Connecting with the emotional self, connecting with vulnerability, forgiving the past, letting go of the wounds and healing the heart, returning to wholeness and unconditional love within self. That is going to line you up for a meaningful relationship, not the meditations, visualizations, and law of attraction techniques, although they can help. However, the self-acceptance within has to come from a deeper place. This is going to go back to past life. If you subscribe to that, which I have gone through, it is going to go definitely into child self, into this lifetime. Being able to reconnect with your child self, being able to reconnect with your heart, and accepting yourself, accepting even the most difficult times, coming to peace with it, radical trust and radical unconditional love. That is going to set you up for manifesting love if this is what you're doing as well. And I've worked with many people. I have, of course, myself done this work as well. And I find that some of these techniques just don't work. They can come in from a very superficial place where they feel very superficial and they don't feel that they're reaching a deeper level. We have to go deeper. This is the time to reach into the depths of ourselves and not to fear what is in there. Be curious and know that when you do go in there, you are going to rise and emerge a new sense of self, an empowered sense of self, an aligned sense of self, ready to manifest, ready to attract, ready to enjoy life, ready to be free. All right, so I hope this video offered you a bit more guidance on your path forward and beyond. If you would like more content, find me over on Substack at the Odyssey of Self. There's going to be even more content going out there that's going to help you on your journey and beyond. All right, so I'm looking forward to seeing you again, and take care.